Hi guys. Happy. Here I go again. Monday. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Day 16. The stages of change. We actually briefly spoke about the stages of change, but I'm going to go into it in more detail because it'll help you learn how to meet yourself where you're at in the process. And what I mean by meeting yourself where you're at is basically understanding that making a change, there are steps that are involved, and you're not expecting yourself to be like, I mean, like you're here at the beginning stage and you're waiting for yourself to be at the end goal all the time. There's a lot of things in between. It's a lot of things in between. And a lot of times what happens is we focus so much on the goal that we lose sight of the process and everything that we're learning, and just recognizing our growth, because we're so focused on, I'm not at the end goal yet. I'm not at the end goal yet. The goal is going to stay there. The goal is always there. It's not moving. So we can actually take our sight off of that. It's there. It's still there. I mean, obviously, you know that you're still going that direction, but just being present in the moment is what is needed. So, the stages of change. Think of this as your blueprint for making change. I really like that word, blueprint. All right. So, when it comes to the stages of change, there are 6 stages. All right. It's pre-contemplation, contemplation, preparation, action, maintenance, and relapse. So, pre-contemplation is basically where a person just ignores and denies the fact that there's an issue. They're in denial. Okay, they're believing their own lie, and they're just under deception. Pre-contemplation is where a person actually recognizes that there is a problem and change needs to happen. But they're still deciding if they want to make that change or not. So they're contemplating, should I do this? Should I not? So if they move forward to make a change, then they'll go into the third stage, which is preparation. Preparation is basically gathering everything that you need, basically. Because before you do something, you always got to prepare for it, right? Think about like when you make a meal. Do you just cook the food? You might actually have to season. You might have to clean it, um, cook it. Well, not even before it gets to the pot. You might have to chop it up. You may have to season it. You have to prepare that thing, and then before you actually put it to the stove or in the oven. So then after that, after you got everything that you need in the preparation stage, then you go into the fourth stage, which is action. That's when you're walking that thing out and you're doing that thing. The steps, those are basically the steps that you're taking towards the goal. Then you have, then after that is the maintenance, and that's where you're consistent because you're sticking with the plan that you developed. So that's where that consistency comes in, and the more you're consistent, it creates that discipline. They work together. And it's a long-term thing. Maintenance is literally a long-term thing. It's not short-term. And then the last step is relapse. And basically that's the stage where mistakes may actually happen. And those mistakes can actually lead you to go backwards and cause you to have to start from the beginning. All right. But at this stage, you actually decide whether you want to give up completely or you actually want to move forward. And it's a circle. It's a loop. It's a loop. I don't have a picture, but the stages are a loop. So relapse is not the end because you can go right back around to the preparation or whatever stage you got to get yourself at, depending on what the issue is, right? Now the whole relapse thing is interesting because that is a stage where I've learned and learning that it is okay and that it serves a purpose because it does. We are human. We make mistakes, right? But when we make mistakes, that's where we're able to say, hey, what happened here? What happened in this moment? And what can we do to get ourselves back on track and not make the same mistake again? Because the whole purpose is when we make a mistake, we should be learning from it, not repeating it over and over and over and over and over. And the reason why I say relapse is a stage that I've been learning to embrace is because transparency moment, partially. Um, I had a huge fear of failure. And one thing I'm learning about fear, just like with Job, everything that Job feared came to pass. I had the fear of failure. Came to pass. I failed at everything. Failed at life, failed at my business. I failed everything. And I was just like, what is happening? Like, and it was hard. It was hard walking through that. And I'm still walking through and up out of that. But I think why some people get stuck in that stage and they actually, because again, remember, when you're in that stage, you have the choice to give up and be done or keep going. And I think the difference is why some people sit in that guilt and shame and they hold on to it and that causes them to give up. But it's like, okay, you're going to feel that guilt and shame. It serves a purpose, but you got to realize you make a mistake, you're human, and what can you learn from this? What can you gain from this? And then you keep going and you move forward. So then that way you can go through the process effectively and make whatever changes that you need to make. So, yesterday I had mentioned, well, make sure I get it right. Making out a list of the changes that you actually need to make. Because when it comes to, I mean, obviously we're doing this consecration and yeah, the focus is on food, but you can't necessarily just focus on that part because there's so many other things. As you have learned, if you've been following the videos thus far, there are so many other things that are connected to our wellness. And so, what changes do you need to make? And you're supposed to make a list, not focus on how much is on the list, not how long is on the list, but just writing the list, and that is it. So, with the stages of change being your blueprint, I'm just going to do like an example to help you like walk through how you apply these stages of change to your life to help you move forward. Okay, not everyone has a coach, not everyone has a therapist, not everyone has a support person. Well, actually, we all have support people in some way, shape, or form. Sometimes we don't always recognize it because it don't look how we expect it to look. That's a whole nother thing. Anyway, but yeah, because I want to be able to provide you with the tools so then that way you can walk through things and help gain that gain self-awareness. And anytime you get stuck, take it to Yah. Pray about it and take it to him. Literally, just like I'm talking to you. I don't know what is going on here. Why do I keep making the same mistake? Why? Why is this happening? What am I missing? What am I missing? He will reveal it to you. All right, so pre-contemplation. Remember, that's the stage where somebody's in denial or they don't even realize an issue has to, or they're not willing to do anything about an issue or recognize that there is an issue. All right, let's just say it's this person, they're eating Cheetos and Takis. This is their typical diet, all right? They eating Cheetos, Takis, drinking soda, barely any water. They don't eat fruits and vegetables, and their dinner meals they always eat out. They don't cook at home. It's Chinese food, McDonald's, or Chick-fil-A. Okay, that's their diet all the time. They're always drained. They're tired. They're gaining weight. They're constipated. Their stomach stays on hurt and bubbles, just bubbling. And now they're at the point where they're burping sulfur. Okay, which should tell a person that they're yeah, that I can't even think of the word, what it's called. But basically like, oh, I can't think of it. I mean, we know that there is a lot of toxin buildup, but it's like their body is nothing but it's just their body's just consumed with sewage, basically. Still can't think of the word I'm trying to say. Um, and somebody actually tells them, well, you feeling this way, you need to change the way you eat. Like you need some better lifestyle changes because you're gonna be sick. And what their attitude is, oh well, we're gonna die anyway. We all gonna die one day. Okay, fine. Go ahead. Go ahead with that. Um, which is actually kind of interesting. A lot of people say that, well, why does it matter what we eat? Why does it matter that we do this? Because we're all gonna die. Yeah, we all do die. But you don't know what age you're gonna die. There are people that are like in their 30s and 40s, like chronically ill, having to get surgeries and amputations and all of this stuff, living in misery. Like because they're not taking care of themselves. I'm not a I'm not a nutritionist yet. um I'm a wellness advocate. I'm actually doing my certification. But um look, see, that's why I can't talk in the comments because I get so distracted. My brain, y'all, brain, it's like squirrel, and it's yeah. So please bear with me. Um, I can't remember. Whatever. Contemplation. The person actually decides that something needs to change and they need to do something about it. And now they're like, all right, I think I can do this. Should I do this? They're contemplating, they're going back and forth. Obviously, they decide on the yes, I want to make that change. I want to do something. So they go to the doctors, right? And they go to the doctors, get checked out. Now it's like, oh, you're pre-diabetic, and maybe it's, they're constipated, right? So they got all of these issues. Maybe they get in a stomach ulcer. Now they got high blood pressure. They got all these issues, right? Um, and they have that revelation of like, yo, this really cannot be my life. This cannot be my life right now. So I need to do something about it. But what do I do? What do I do? Hold up, I need to write that down so because I just remember what I was gonna say before when I got sidetracked. Um, when people always say they're gonna die anyway, they have no idea what age they're gonna die. And maybe I did finish my thought. And if they actually live to be 80, that means they're going to be living in, and they choose not to make any changes in their life, they're going to be miserable for 40 years. Meanwhile, their peers are actually going to have the energy and bouncing around them, living happy, living free with no limitations. So it's like when people say that statement, we're all going to die anyway, I don't think they actually realize what they're coming into agreement with. So if you ever made that statement, I encourage you to just reevaluate it. Okay. So, the person goes to the doctors, blah, blah, blah. They decide to make a change. What do? They need to prepare, which is the third stage, which is preparation. They got to make a plan for themselves. Okay. Before you take action, you need to plan it out. So they may do some research about something. For me, when I decided to make a change, um in my health and like my eating, I actually stalked the plant-based lifestyle for an entire year. An entire year. I was in a Facebook group and I was just taking in the information and just learning and just learning and then seeing, other people's testimonies and other people's stories. And I'm like, yo, can I do this? Can I do this? And that's what I should have did. I should have put I should have put myself as an example going through the stages. But that was actually a part of the preparation process for me. So I did research. Because the more because when you look up something for yourself versus just listening to somebody blindly, you really understand what you're doing. So you're not just doing it to do it, but you're doing it because you want to do it and you see the value in it. And you know it's going to benefit you. The other thing I did, I cold turkeyed my kitchen. Everything that was not, I decided that I wasn't consuming anymore. I cleaned it out. I got rid of it. I actually gave it to my friend. And it was healthy. Like, it was actually healthy things. It's just things that I chose not to eat anymore. Like, one of those things, I don't eat meat. So I had like salmon. I remember that. So I was like, I had frozen salmon. So I was like, hey, you want this? Like, there were certain seasonings I didn't use that I noticed you used. So I'm like, hey, you want this? So yeah. So doing some research, and let's just say they spoke with I don't know, they spoke with a professional and the person recommended that they chose to be plant-based. We're just gonna roll with that because it's gonna be the easiest thing ever. And it rolls with the consecration, right? And it's like, okay, so they did the research, they got a food list, right? So now they know what foods they can eat. Now they gotta figure out where they're gonna get these foods from. Where are they gonna buy these foods from? Where they need to order them from. That's a part of the preparation stage. Um, and then they got to go to the store and buy the groceries, right? That's a part of the preparation stage. Maybe they need recipes, maybe not. Depends on the person. That can be a part of the preparation stage as well. Um, maybe there's an actual now. Maybe there's an actual more strategic like meal plan or like a guideline. What would A guideline would be more like eat fruit in the morning. Like my guy, I'll just share my guideline. I start my day out with fruit, whether it's smoothies or like fresh fruit, because when you wake up, your body is still detoxing. It's still like removing waste from the day before. It's still doing this thing. So you want to support your body with things that is gonna keep that going, and you're giving your body the minerals that it needs, keeps the flow. Because let's be real, a lot of people don't poop enough. They don't. They have, they just like clogged up, and that is not good because that stuff is sitting inside of you. So that is one good reason to start your day with fruit. Maybe in the middle of the day they have more of the vegetables, so they'll have like a salad. Um, and when I say salad, I don't mean no cheap little, oh, some lettuce and cucumbers and tomato. Like, you can make it dense. Like, you can put chickpeas in there. You can throw some grains in there. You can add some quinoa. You can cook some mushrooms, chop up some mushrooms and throw that in there. Peppers and onions, hemp seeds. Like, there are things that you can do. Jackfruit. Like, your salad don't have to be boring. So say they ate that. And the reason why I said adding those things, because sometimes people make meals and it's not dense enough, and then they wonder why they walking around starving all day. There's no reason you should be starving. Just not eating enough. We're not eating the right things, or the right combinations of things. I probably should have said that instead. Um, so yeah, and then maybe dinner if they're, because sometimes depending, because when you start eating healthier, your appetite actually gets lighter. And so you may not have to actually eat like 3 meals a day. Sometimes you might actually eat once a day or twice, but you still got to make sure that it's a good meal, you know? Um, so yeah, including that water, herbal tea, fruit juice. Remember, this person, they don't drink no water. And so for somebody who drinks no water and they was drinking soda all day, just jump into all water could actually be a little hard for them. Now, obviously, if you're at the point of death, you gotta do what you gotta do. But um, it's like for example, this is 40 ounces. This is 40 ounces, right? If you have one of these and then have like another 32-ounce cup of tea and you're drinking fruit juice or eating hydrating fruits, your water intake is gonna be cool, you know? All right, so that's all the um so everything that I said, right? You got that plan. So in the action stage, they're actually going to do everything. So that whole plan or guide or whatever, they're going to follow that. That's the action stage. So then after that, remember you have the maintenance where you actually stay consistent. This is where he's doing the thing. He's still eating the way he's supposed to eat. And he actually starting to see progress. He's not having the same issues that he had before. Like he has more energy. Now, he doesn't have to take medications anymore. You know, he's not constipated anymore. He has regular bowel movements. You know, things are progressing. And it's like, okay, this is something to do for the long term, right? Now, this is the thing about maintenance. It's for long term. Um, if you relapse, you get set back a bit, right? So he winds up relapsing. And he started getting really busy at work. Roll with me with the story. He had a really crazy week at work and doing a lot of overtime. He didn't have no time to, come home and cook dinner and things like that. So he started going to get the Chinese food again, started to go get the McDonald's again, started to go get the Chick-fil-A again. And now he finds himself in the same spot that he was in before. And it's like at that point, right, he has two choices. Does he give up or does he keep going? For him to keep for he chooses to keep going, but this is the key when you relapse. Asking yourself, what happened? What happened? He was doing so well, right? He was doing so good. And then all of a sudden, here he finds himself in the same situation, eating the way that he was before. And if he keeps going on that path, all of those same issues that was happening to him are going to come back. And in this, so I'm a listener. I'm really good at paying attention when people speak. I'm a care coach. So I help people navigate situations and things like that. Basically, I'm a counselor without the non-clinical. I'm not a licensed counselor, but I still have I still know the therapeutic modalities, and I offer that social support to individuals. So the key point here is the difference, because it's like, what happened? What happened in the situation? There was something different, because when something is added, it's going to shift everything else. And it was work. Work was crazy. He was working more hours. Therefore, he did not have the time to cook, right? And then he had he didn't have the time to cook, but he didn't realize that he can meal prep. He did not realize that he can actually meal prep. That is It might be common sense for some of us, but for somebody who's never walked through that, they're not going to think that off the top of their head. You must be bored with your life. You must be real bored, sir. Anyway. So yeah, some things that may be easy for you is not always going to be easy for other people. So now, if he was talking this out with someone, they would say like, well, or if he was talking it out with me, I would be like, well, you were working that heavy work week. You didn't have the time to actually cook your meals like you typically would. So if there are times that you are going to be working more hours, you're going to need to meal prep. That is what is going to need to happen. So you need to fit time in order to do that, whether that's, and it doesn't mean you got to do it for a whole 7 days, do it for a few days, make enough meals so you last until the middle of the week, and then do a little more. So then that way you stay consistent. So that's how I navigate the what happened. So then that way you can make a plan to work through that. And then he starts the cycle again, right? Now he knows he can meal prep, make that plan of action, make that preparation, do that plan of action, and be in maintenance again. And he may find himself having another issue. And then we just got to go, okay, so what happened here? Let's walk this out. What is going on here? So with that list that you created, pick one thing and get to work. Meaning, walk yourself through the stages. You want to do XYZ. How do you get there? So walk yourself through those stages of change. So then that way you have a clear picture in front of you, and it's something that you can follow. And I'm really big on writing things down. Even if you're not, you can still type it. There's apps on the phones where you can type it up, or you can type it up on your computer. But definitely just recording that, having it down physically in front of you so you can see it. So that is pretty much it with day 16. That's what I got for you. That's what I got for you today. And I hope that y'all have a good night. Tomorrow is Tuesday. Tomorrow's going to be a great day. Tomorrow's going to be a great day. I'm excited. Me and my friend doing a photo shoot. I love it. It's so much fun. You just get a camera, dress up, take some pictures. Then you're able to use it for your business-wise, social media-wise, all that fun stuff. Get creative, guys. Have some fun. Y'all staying joyful. Y'all got joy in your heart? Who got a question today? Y'all got joy in your heart? I hope so, though. All right, well, I'm out of here. It's 9:05. I ain't going to bed yet, but I'm going to chill out for a bit. All right, well, y'all have a blessed night. And I shall talk to y'all mañana.